Good evening, everyone. We'll go ahead and get started. I believe I know most of you. I'm recognizing most of the names, but if I have not met you, I'm Ginger Maltabano. I was head of lower school for 9 years and now have taken over the role of or the job description of enrollment management, which includes admissions. Um, and so we thought it would be a great idea to give our current eighth grade parents the opportunity to listen to Dr. Cramp and Coach Inman to give y'all a really good overview of upper school. Upper school is very different than middle school, and Dr. Cramp will be pointing out that this evening. I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all now there's two other opportunities that I think y'all need to take advantage of. Sunday, October 17th is our open house for upper school from 1 to 3. Even though you all have been on campus many, many times, it will give you the opportunity to watch a demo lesson that your daughter can participate in. While the teacher teaches, you will be able to observe. There will also be, we call it a fair in the dining hall, where you will be able to talk to all kinds of faculty, staff, to ask questions and kind of roam around from table to table. So I think it will give you, besides tonight, the open house on Sunday, the 17th. And then the third thing that I think that you should take advantage of, and if you go onto our website under the admissions pages, we have Thursday morning tours called Duchenne in Action. Some of the information will overlap, but what's really neat about the Thursday morning tours is that you will actually get to go in to several different upper school classrooms and observe the classes. Now, we don't go in and stay like a full 30 minutes, but we do pop into several upper school classrooms just so you can kind of get the vibe and get a good understanding of how upper school works. So I hope that you find this evening informative. Hope it answers your questions. We plan on saving the last few minutes for any questions that you might have. And after this evening, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to any of us. We'll be glad to help you. So enough of me talking. I'm going to turn it over to our two superstars of the show and let them introduce themselves, and I will get started.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you, Ginger, very much. Some of you may know me, some of you may not. My name is Don Cramp, and I'm the head of the upper school. This is my 8th year, and I have a daughter in 10th grade here, and I have a 7th grader, and I have a pre-K4 itty bitty as well. So lots of good stuff going on at school. Lots of good stuff going on here at home too, as you can imagine. So I'll let Coach introduce herself, and then I'll talk a little bit about how we'll proceed for the next half hour, 45 minutes before we go to Q&A. Coach?
So, hey, I'm Allie Inman. I'm the Dean of Students for the upper school and also the varsity basketball coach. This is my 4th year as Dean of Students and 6th year at Duchenne.
Hence why I call her Coach, and so does everybody else.
Yes.
Probably some of your girls actually know Coach Inman at various levels, whether she taught them when she was in the PE department or coached them in field hockey, because she coached field hockey for a while in middle school too. Mm-hmm. So she's, I know, very familiar to many of you. Okay, so tonight we'd like to talk to you about a few things. We have a few topics that we're going to bring up and talk about, and then go to Q&A, because we think we know what you may want to hear about, but at the end of the day, we don't know exactly. And so your questions will be important. We're going to talk about the mod schedule and high school and how it's different than the middle school and the middle school schedule, student choice, student voice. We're going to talk about activities, clubs. We're going to talk about sports at the high school level. And then we're also going to talk about the college process a little bit and how we do it at the high school. Some of you may have friends or older children that have gone through the college process. We do things that is important to us. We do, our college process is just, it's fantastic. So we're going to talk about it a little bit, because I know that's an important part of the high All right, so mod schedule. I'll start with the mod schedule. So the mod schedule is different than the middle school because at the middle school, they take the same classes, mod 1, 3, 5, or mod 2, 4, 6 for the most part. Whereas at the high school level, it's not like that at all. Some of their classes may be 1, 3, 5, or 2, 4, 6, but many of their classes are could be 1, 3, 4, 2, 2, 4, 5, or 2, 4, 6. We have a lot of standalone classes. So classes that instead of being 3 mods of duration, there may be only 1 mod of the class or 2 mods of the class. And those are a lot of the different electives that we have. And so while middle school, they know their schedule, it's set, they know it's systematic. The upper school, it's not the same. And a lot of it has to do with because the girls have a choice in the different classes that they take. They also have a voice in the different classes that are made. With regards to having a choice of the different classes that they take, when they go into 9th grade, they'll be able to choose a math class, a world language class, and then various computer science and fine art electives. They will be, so Miss McGee will place them in a math class, and then the girls and you will be able to decide whether you want to be in that math class or be in a different math class. If let's say, for instance, Miss McGee says that your daughter is supposed to be in geometry, and you want 1 more year, she wants 1 more year of algebra, so she can choose to be in geometry or go to algebra. Let's say that Miss McGee gives her geometry and she really wants advanced geometry. She has the opportunity at the end of the summer to take a placement test that could potentially that advanced geometry option. So giving her that choice of staying in geometry or going up to advanced geometry. The same thing with world languages. She can choose to, well, she'll be placed. Let's say she's placed in Spanish 2. Kind of the same thing. She can choose to be back in Spanish 1, take a placement test if she wants to get an advanced Spanish 2, or she may want to be done with Spanish and try a new language and go with French. So she'll have that choice. And then with computer science and fine arts, she may choose any of the computer science classes, some of the fine arts classes as well. So she'll have those choices. She can also work on her schedule in terms of looking at where the class placements are and talk with the academic dean. Let's say she's doing the Nutcracker. So my 7th grader, she's in the Nutcracker. In November is a crazy town, right? There's a lot of rehearsals. So at the high school level, she can talk with the academic dean prior to the year to say, hey, listen, I'm in the Nutcracker. Mod 3 is going to be a little bit crazy. Can you see if maybe my schedule can have a free D-bin? And the academic dean will figure it out and try to work it out if there's a legitimate concern or a legitimate cause. Same with like basketball season. Basketball season is basically mods 3 and 4. So we could potentially look at and see if end of the day, we can get some free periods. So there's a lot of wiggle room there that maybe the middle school doesn't. And that's age appropriate. Okay. The other thing that's great about student voice and choice that has to do with academics is actual electives. So 2 years ago, I asked the teachers to create various electives for the students to take, to be offered. The teachers knew what a lot of the student interests were. They talked to some students, and I got 99 different electives that the teachers had brought to me. And that was just too much. Like there was no way that I could offer the students 99 different electives plus geometry, algebra, Spanish 2, all that stuff. So I created a survey and asked the student body to choose what electives they would be interested in. And we whittled it down to 37. So the 37 electives that have been offered the last 2 years were chosen by the students. Now we're redoing it. We're creating new electives, and now I've charged the teachers with not only coming up with some new electives, but also getting the students to create new electives. So I'm hoping, we just started it, I'm hoping that I'm going to get some electives that are literally created by the students. That's the hope. So again, students have voice, they have choice. The timing is the same. The depth of conversations are age appropriate. So while the teachers in the middle school are able to go deep into some conversations, at the high school level, they do the same thing, and it's age appropriate. And so, you'll have freshman biology, but then you'll have AP biology in 11th to 12th grade, and things of that nature. Same with English classes, same with history classes. We're able to go deep into those different subjects. So it's great. So just like middle school, there's no final exams. There's end of or midterm exams. There's end of mod testing, which is great. And so that kind of gives you an idea. The other thing that's a big difference with the upper school with regards to the schedule is freedom. So what ends up happening is the girls will have free periods. So they may have a class in mod 1. They may have history in bin A, free in bin B, science in bin C, and guitar in bin D. So they literally, and they're during that free in bin B, they have free time. They can do whatever they want. They can get their homework done. They can take a break because they just had a crazy paper that they had to write in English class, or whatever the case may be. They can work in a group as a group project. It's their time to do what they want. It's our version, the high school's version of Wise Freedom. And so that's a major difference that we hear all the time. That's different from an academic standpoint, from the middle school to the high school, is that freedom, that there's not so much that watching over. Again, age appropriate, right? Like high school, they should be having more of those freedoms to be able to do what they want to do, what they need to do, and who they want to do it with, because that's all incredibly important in building community. Okay, so that's the academic side of it. That's part of our mod schedule and why there's some big differences. Coach, can you please go into activities and sports, please?
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I muted because my dogs were barking. But yes, so we have, like Dr. Cramp was saying about voice and choice, we also move that into clubs. So we allow for the girls to write club proposals and basically tell us who, what, where, when, why we should have this club. And then Dr. Cramp and I look at them, decide if they're cool or not, and what it's going to bring to the community. And then we allow those girls to, run these clubs and share their passions or interests with their peers. All the clubs have an adult moderator, so they also find faculty and staff that are interested in the same things, or that have no interest, but no knowledge, and then they learn about it with the girls as well. So that's super cool. This year we have 43 clubs. The way that works is we have a huge club fair. We set up posters, sign up things all in the gym, kind of like the fair that Ginger was mentioning at the open house, but this one's for high school clubs, so you guys don't get to come to it. And the girls get to sign up for whatever clubs they're interested in. Some of the clubs that we have this year are the Bayou Babes. So they do a lot of like marine biology. They go down and clean the bayou. We have a soccer club that works with kids with autism. We have friendship bracelets for charity, where girls make bracelets and then they sell them and they donate the money. We have the Chai Club, which is like kind of like a Catholic-based youth group, kind of. We have volunteer service clubs. We have different culture clubs: Chinese culture, Hispanic culture, Black culture, Muslim culture. We have all kind of different culture clubs. And it's really cool to see the girls, come together, but also share something that they're super interested in. And these girls, they run it. They schedule the meetings, they take the minutes, and they send me at the end, Coach, this is what we talked about. This is who was there. And they really take a lot of ownership, which is super cool. Other activities we have are leadership activities. We have student government, which consists of 5 girls that are elected by the entire student body. The president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and campus ministry president. And those girls are kind of like my 5 right hands, right? They help me run the upper school. Their ideas, they bring me ideas and I say, yes, that's awesome. No, that's crazy. And it really makes it where the high school experience is, directed to, or is age appropriate, and it's what high school girls want. And then we also have class reps, and there's 6 class reps that are elected by their grade level, for every grade: president, secretary, historian, blue and gold team captains. I'm sure you guys heard field day last week. Gold won. I'm sorry if your daughter was on blue.
Blue was Rob. Blue was Rob.
You're a blue team. Okay.
The Cramps are blue team.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
But anyway, it was a sweep by gold. And then they also have campus ministry and historian. I'm not sure if I said that yet. And so all those girls kind of work on their grade level with the student government to bring ideas from their peers up to the student government to me, and then we make things happen. Sports, we have all the same sports as middle school. So in the fall, there's volleyball, cross country, and field hockey. In the winter, we have soccer, basketball, and swimming. In the spring, we have golf, tennis, softball, track and field, lacrosse starting this year. Am I forgetting anything? I think that's it. The sports at the high school level are a little bit more competitive. Obviously, we have tryouts and things like that based on the numbers. But it's a super positive experience for girls that are very athletic and for girls that just are good teammates, and want to be there to support their friends and just work really hard.
Yeah. I'd like to add a couple things, Coach.
For sure. Go for it.
With activities, we encourage the freshmen to just sign up and just get really involved in all the different clubs. And then as time progresses, so as they become juniors, sophomores, juniors, and seniors, they're whittling it down to being dedicated to 2, 3, 4 clubs. And that's mainly because freshman year, they're still learning everything. And so we want to encourage them to try all these different things. But by junior year, we're hoping that they have found a passion in high school so that they can follow that passion even further. And when it comes to college applications and even potential college majors, they're following those passions even further, and they've whittled it down to be more concentrated, more dedicated.
And taking leadership, like by junior and
Yes.
senior year, they're leading these clubs, they're presidents of these clubs, they're, asking Dr. Cramp and I for money for things. They're really, pushing the envelope with these passions in a good way, but making everyone aware.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to mention is cheerleading is a big part of what our girls do. It's something that's done either at Strake or St. Thomas, and it's for sophomore, juniors, and seniors. It's something that those schools, that's how they regulate their participants. But the girls can try out in the springtime of their freshman year. So if you have girls that cheer now for a club or something like that, they'll definitely have that opportunity sophomore year, but tryouts in their freshman year.
And Charger girls, Don.
Yes.
Yeah, and the Charger girls. So the Charger girls, like middle school, is our dance team. The high school, I think, does a little bit more just based on performing at more events, and we do things at assembly, and we do high school pep rallies and things like that. But that's a full-time commitment, practice in the morning, performances and things.
Yeah. It's kind of the same concept. So Matilda, my 7th grader, is involved in junior Charger girls, and they'll prepare for 1 or 2 middle school games. They'll do a quick dance, between sets in volleyball, let's say. What Coach Inman said is absolutely right. At the high school level, the Charger girls are not only doing games, they're going to different events all throughout, and they're performing. So it's the next level, right? As to be expected when you get to high school. So that's something that's different, but also really great about what we're doing at the high school level as we build upon these different programs. Okay.
Don,
yes.
real quick, back to academics. Could
Yes.
you go over AAA and also go over in that 80-minute, that classes are 80 minutes, how the teacher divides that 80 minutes at,
Absolutely.
and also how the daily schedule works with class break. I
Absolutely.
think that's very important.
Yeah, so that is another, the schedule itself, the daily schedule is a little bit different. There's, again, some more free time involved. Coach, what I'll do is I'll just go through the days, talk a little bit academics, and then if you want to talk about AAA, that would be great. Okay, so so our day starts at 8:30, ends at 3:45. Between 8:30 and 3:45, we have 4 classes. And in between those classes, there's a extensive break. So start at 8:30, got an 80-minute class, first bin. And during that class time, much like the middle school, from what I understand, the teachers are spending 15, 20 minutes doing a discussion, then 15, 20 minutes doing a lab, then 15, 20 minutes maybe doing problem solving. And then whatever's left, they're either having more discussion, showing a video, doing more problems, doing group work, getting homework done or started, things of that nature. So that goes from 8:30 to 9:50. And then every day from 9:50 to 11, we have something called AAA. There's no academics, it's just a break. Coach, talk to us about.
So AAA is activities, advisory, assembly. That's what the 3A stand for. It's not like the roadside service thing, right? So every Monday and Thursday we have assembly. It usually takes up most of the time. We have things prepared as far as announcements, student government talks. We give the opportunity for people to share about club meetings or teachers to make announcements and things like that. We also do different kinds of recognition throughout those events. And then on Tuesdays, we always have advisory, especially for 9th grade, always advisory. So 9th and 10th have advisory every Tuesday, 11th and 12th have it every other Tuesday. And then those are directed kind of, I don't know what we say, directed activities with the girls, with their advisor. Wednesdays usually are free. So Wednesdays, they usually get to play in their club meetings. They get to study for a test. They get to hang out with their friends, watch Netflix, take a little siesta, whatever they do, that's their time on Wednesday. Thursday's assembly is similar to Monday with planned things, announcements. And then on Thursdays, we also do something called Positive Vibes, where a person from the community, student, faculty, staff can share kind of a personal story about positivity or growth or something like that. I mean, the girls talk about everything. This week, a girl's talking about how she built a truck. So that's super cool. Other people, a teacher's talked about sailing and how she's done her whole life and those experiences. And then Friday is health and wellness for 9th and 10th graders. And then juniors and seniors have free. So we try to stick to kind of a consistent schedule for AAAs, but that's what that time is for.
So that's what will happen after first period. They get that time and they have, and that usually, whatever the event is, whatever the day is, it usually ends about 10:45, 10:50. That allows the girls a good 10 minutes or so to get to their next class, to get a quick coffee at Cha-Cha's, whatever, but there's not that hustle, right? So much like the middle school, I believe. Okay, then at 11 o'clock, they have another class for 80 minutes, kind of the same thing, right? Maybe they start with the video and then they go into discussion, then they do problems, and then they have a lab or what. The teachers are constantly mixing it up. Then at 12:20, they have lunch. That lunch goes for about a half an hour. At 12:50, they have another class. And again, it's lunchtime, so they come and go as they please. They don't have to, a lot of the girls start strolling out with 5 to 7 minutes before class starts, and they take their time and they're not hustling.
And they can sit wherever they want on campus, which is another like wise freedom, age appropriate thing. They sit outside, they sit inside, they sit, well, not right now inside with COVID and masks, but they sit outside, they sit in the front of the school, wherever. So that's kind of cool.
White House lawn out in front there. Yeah, everywhere. So then they have a class for 12:50 to 2:10. And then they have a 15-minute break. And again, they just hang out, they go to Cha-Cha's, they talk, whatever, they catch up real quick. They, take a selfie and put whatever, right? Hey, and then at 2:25, they have their last class that goes till 3:45. And then they're done, and then they're off to the races, whether it's rehearsals for a play, whether it's athletic practices or games, whether it's off to a rehearsal for a dance or a dance club, or even a club volleyball, whatever the case may be. That's how our day is. So you notice there's a lot more freedom. There's a lot more ability to meet with teachers when need be, meet with friends when need be on their own. Now, having said that, I mean, teachers are constantly walking around. Coach Inman and I, we're constantly walking around. We're doing that to check on everybody, but we're also building community. Like sometimes coach will be looking for me and I'll be playing foosball with some of the kids, right? But we're building.
Don't challenge him to foosball unless you're good.
Let's go. We'll do it.
He's good.
Yeah, well, thank you. But yeah, so that's what we're doing. So we're walking around. So yes, they have freedom. They can do their things. They are over the watchful eye of the adults as they're doing their different things, right? So, which is important because we don't want you to think that it's just like a free for all and they just go and do whatever they want. But they're not. They have a lot of choice, right? And what they're doing. So, Ginger, is that helpful in terms of the day-to-day kind of thing?
Yes, you mentioned selfies, and I do get a lot of questions about cell phone policy in high
Sure.
school. So why don't you go ahead and address the cell phone policy?
Coach, go for it.
All right. And then you have a question in the chat too, Don. So cell phones, age appropriate. We've been saying that a lot. Wise freedom. We've been saying that a lot. Cell phones are allowed in the upper school. They are not allowed in class. They're not what I tell the girls my time. So they're not allowed in assembly. They're not allowed in advisor. They're not allowed in any organized activity. But they are allowed when they have free time, lunch, things like that. We really encourage them to, I don't know, we think if we give them then when it's our time, then they don't use them, which usually works out pretty well.
Just so you understand too, where that came from, that was also student voice.
Yeah.
So when Coach and I started here, the current cell phone policy was high schoolers could have their cell phones at lunch. And so the girls busted out their cell phones at lunch, and they were
It was like this at lunch the whole time.
Yeah, just like that. No, they were taking selfies, but we saw there was still community. But yeah, that was only at lunch. Then student government came to us, and they asked if we would consider cell phones during free periods, during free time, not in the classroom, things like that. They were very respectful and understanding of how to get what they want, and knowing what we wanted. And we brought it to the teachers, brought it to Miss Swenson, and everybody agreed that we felt that the girls could handle it. We got these things for the classroom. So if the teachers wanted the girls to put their cell phones in a certain place, the teachers could control that in the classroom. And it's worked really well. The girls understand that during class time, if their cell phone goes off, if they bust it out and they're not doing something appropriate, they're going to get a detention. That's just how it is. It's that quick. It's that simple. And
it's super rare. I've given one detention this school year for a cell phone.
Yeah, super
like
rare.
It's the girls know, and I think they respect that this is the expectations and when we're allowed to use them and when we're not.
Yeah. And I think what's also great about it is the teachers actually have them use their cell phones. Even though they have these laptops, sometimes it's easier to do a Kahoot on their cell phone. Or some classes, when they go outside, they want their students to be taking pictures to then reference when they get back into the classroom. So the cell phone use we have found it to be successful with our current policy. So yeah, so that's that part of that freedom, which is important. Much different than middle school. Okay, there's a question about dual credit options, and that will play actually perfectly, I think, into our college advising process. So dual credit options. So right now we have two different avenues. One is very singular, and it's through the University of Texas, and it's one class. It's our Engineer Your World class for 11th and 12th graders. It's an elective, and students can take this class. They have to do certain projects that the University of Texas allocates to our different high schools that work with the University of Texas. And then once the girls complete these projects, they get 3 credits towards graduation if they go to the University of Texas. If they want to broaden their elective horizon, if you will, and have dual credit courses that could be accepted at many of the universities around the country, then for 10th, 11th, and 12th graders, we have a dual credit program with the University of St. Thomas. Basically, I work with the director of admissions there at UST, and we offer, oftentimes it's we've been doing this now, this is our second year. We offer probably about 20 to 30 different classes. They're asynchronous or synchronous, but they're online. But the students do become UST students, so they get an ID. And once, right before COVID started, students were able to actually go on campus and use the facilities if they wanted to and things like that. Currently, right now, they still are a UST student, but with COVID policies, there's a little bit more restrictions. Hopefully that's going to start changing soon over at UST. But however, the classes that they take through UST, they are accepted at many universities around the country. And when I say many, I'm not talking just like a handful or two handful. We're talking hundreds, maybe. I mean, there's like 6,000 different universities, right? So, I mean, we're talking well over 1,000 different universities that these credits could potentially transfer to. They're all elective classes, so they work towards graduation. They are not classes that we offer. What we don't want are, we want the girls to take these classes rather than be in the classroom. That has to do with building community and making sure that we have our girls in the community. However, this dual enrollment program with UST really offers some dynamic diversity for the girls to show when they start doing their college admissions process, that they're really in sync and really diving deep into some of the stuff that they really love. Maybe it's a cultural class or a theology class or a writing class, something of that nature. They're able to take some of the lower level science electives, animal behavior, things like that. So that's a great question about dual credit. I know there's another question up there. Let me talk about the college process first. Let me just get that done, and then I'll definitely answer that question. Maybe Coach and I can get to those questions as well. We can put questions up on the side there, or we can just raise hand and shout it out. Okay, college process. So freshman year, there is nothing that is directed to the freshmen. Nothing. They will see a ton of stuff. They walk through the halls. I mean, if you walk through our hall right now, there is a writable wall that's dedicated to, it's huge right now. There's going to be, this week, there's about 100 universities that are visiting Duchesne. And students, all levels, 9th through 12th grade, can visit with these universities. Now, freshmen and sophomores, if they're free, they're more than welcome to go visit. Juniors and seniors can actually get out of class and go visit with these different universities. But freshman year, they hear the college advisors say, hey, University of Miami is going to be here. Don't forget to come visit. Or, hey, University of Central Florida, they're going to be here. You know, come visit. You can tell where Coach Inman and I went to college, right?
I was going to say little flex there.
Little slight. You got to throw it out there. Okay. But we won't have any real programming directed towards them. That's intentional. Freshman year, there's so many other things that are going on between not only obviously the academic expectation at the high school level, but also in the beginning, there's like 4 different dances within the first month that the girls can go to. The next month, there's 4 different homecoming dances that the girls can go to. There's football games that the girls are going to. There's different get-togethers that there's just a lot of events. There's a lot of stuff. And so
they're getting their sea legs. They're trying to figure it all out, you know.
Yes, and that's good. And that's what they should be doing. We know that our process works. We know that they're going to be getting lots of college stuff in 10th, 11th, 12th grade. Freshman year, let them have some fun and figure out their stuff out. Let them hear that these different universities are coming. Let them hear about the different college nights that the different grades are having. The college advisors will have a freshman college night for you parents. just to give you an idea of exactly what to look forward to over the next few years. But again, there's nothing truly intentional. Now, sophomore year, it becomes more intentional. So in the fall of sophomore year, the sophomores and the juniors take the PSAT, the practice SAT. That's in the middle of October. It's a Wednesday morning. They take the test. It has zero implications for 10th graders, but at least it gets them thinking and started about the process, gets them familiar. In the spring, late winter, early spring, we have a 10th grade college trip where we take the entire 10th grade class to what I call the Central Texas College Tour. Basically, we load them up on the bus and we go to different universities. Some years it's UT, it's Trinity, it's just a bunch of different universities. Small, big, in the city, outside the city, football fields, stadiums, on campus, no stadiums at all, right? The intent is to build community, but also to get the girls to start thinking about, do I want a campus like SMU that's small, but still in the city and has a football team? Do I want a small school like a St. Ed's that maybe doesn't have a football program, but has a great writing program? Do I want to go to A&M that's rural, but oh my gosh, like is known around the world? Do I want a UT that's in downtown, the heart of the capital? Things like that. And it's not so much about the university as it's about the feel. Some girls will be like, I want big city, I want big school, I want small school. And that starts that conversation when they come home. And now you're getting an idea of, okay, what direction do you want to go? And they're still hearing all these different universities coming, University of Arizona and LSU and, all these different schools. Junior year in the fall, they take the PSAT again. The PSAT for juniors do have a small implication. There's an opportunity for them to have National Merit Scholarship money. It varies $3,000 to $5,000 if they choose the school that accepts National Merit Scholarship money. But other than that, again, it's a practice PSAT. It does not go into their application process. It doesn't do anything other than give them another practice before they start taking their SATs. In the winter, or like January of the junior year, the juniors, they get assigned a college advisor. It's one college advisor per about 25 to 35 girls. They literally divide the class in half. So whatever the class number is, that's the half of that number is what the college advisors get. They are phenomenal people. This is their second year at Duchesne. However, our director of college advising, she's been a college advisor for about 10 years at other independent schools. And then our associate director of college advising for 10 years was the associate director of admissions at Rhodes College. So they balance each other beautifully because Ms. Bowen-Lori has been at the high school level as a college admissions, getting them into college for 10 years, right? And Ms. Frank has been on the other side of the desk, getting them in. So they really balance each other, knowing exactly what the needs and the expectations are. And plus, they're just loving, caring people. So the process, if you know the process, it's cuckoo birds. It's crazy. There's so much to it. They do a great job in calming everybody's anxieties, walking everybody through it, giving great suggestions. We have heard so many positive things over the last 2 years. I've been impressed, and I know you would be too. Okay, so they get their advisors, right? Then immediately there's parent nights. We bring in admissions directors from different universities around the country to talk about the admissions process, financial aid, college essay, things like that. You're meeting with the college advisor with your daughter. Your daughter's meeting with the college advisor. I mean, it could be daily. Some girls, the traffic that we see, because they're involved they're right in our office wing, it's constant, right? You can meet with them as many times as you want. The girls are steering the ship. They're running the show, but you can call them, you can email them. It takes a village, right? So everybody's involved in the process. Okay. Then, and then that's what happens. And junior year's done. summer between junior senior year, the girls are working on their essays, they're meeting with the college advisors, they're getting more information, they're visiting colleges. Ms. Montalbano has been living this as her youngest is a senior, so she knows exactly what she's experiencing right now. Senior year, their girls are meeting 2 or 3 times a day sometimes with essays, with applications, all these different things they're pushing and pushing to get through. The counselors for seniors sometimes not only become college counselors, but like emotional counselors. It's kind of funny. But that's what happens, right? And then applications are in between November and like February, March, and they're going and they're hustling, they're writing recommendations and getting recommendations. And then, signing day is May 1st, commitment day is May 1st. And then we all sit back for 12 hours and then the hustle starts again, right? So it's an exciting time, but that's the process. So as the years progress, it gets more and more dedicated to the process. And we have found that process to be incredibly successful. Our girls are getting into all the different universities where they want to go, top 25, Ivies, local, international, all over. And
military academies.
Military academy. We have a girl right now, our state champion in tennis last year. She's now at West Point doing incredible stuff there. So it's a great program. Our process is intentional and our process is successful. It's different. If you have friends that are at other local schools or at other schools around the country, some schools start freshman year, like get their advisor freshman year and go at it. We don't do that. But our girls go to the same schools, colleges that those kids go to. So it works for us. It works for our community. So that's the college process. I'm going to answer this question now about, it looks like about APs and stuff. If you want, maybe throw your questions up there on the chat, and then Coach Inman and I can, and Ms. Montalbano, if there's admissions stuff or just experience of a mom that's gone through our process, please put them up there. I think that would probably be the easiest to make sure we don't miss anybody. So, all right. So the question is, what is the student teacher ratio at the high school? Yeah, great question. Okay. So technically it's like 8.7 students per teacher. It's more realistically about 12 to 13. We have about 12 to 13 students in a class average. Now, having said that, freshman year, like freshman year in college, our biology class and English class, they may have 17, 18, 19 girls in a class, right? But as they get older, like AP biology may have 9 or 8. Some of our electives may have 5, 6. That's why the average is right around 12, 13 students per teacher. So that's that ratio. It's a great number. The girls, we find, whether they like it or not, don't fall through the cracks. And so, yeah, they don't. Sometimes they hate it, but it is what it is. And it really allows, as you would expect, and as you would, girls going to a school like Duchesne, that relationship that is created by the teachers with the students is powerful. It's awesome. And it makes the difference. It makes the difference in the learning, the engagement, and also just promoting Sacred Heart communities, education, right? Okay. How do AP classes work in later grades? How are students assigned to these classes? Okay, great. So AP program. So there no AP classes are offered to freshmen. Sophomores can take 1 AP class. Currently, we have 2 AP classes that the girls could take as sophomores. It's AP European History and AP Computer Science A. They're allowed to take 1 AP sophomore year. Junior year, that's when the APs really start opening up. They can take an AP English class, an AP History class, an AP Science class, AP Languages, possibly pre-AP Languages. They can only take 2 junior year. Senior year, basically all the APs are open. They can only choose 3 AP classes. So that is something that we intentionally went to about 3 years ago. That is something that we did a lot of research on. When Coach and I started, girls could take, and when Miss Montalbano became even the lower school head, girls could take as many APs as they wanted. And when I started there, girls were crying almost every day. And I would ask, what's going on? Well, I have like 5 AP tests tomorrow, or I have 2 AP tests and a project. And because I got 5 AP classes, I don't know what to do in this homework and the test. And it was just too much. So, so we grandfathered in this policy. And if you think about it, it's completely age appropriate. So basically, in essence, how it works is, if you think about it, by the time they're seniors, if half their schedule, if half their course load are college level courses, well, that makes perfect sense, because in 8 months, they're going to be taking all college level courses. So why not ease them into it gradually in an atmosphere, in a community that's going to be able to take care of them, that's going to be able to push them, but also be giving and graceful with them. It's worked. When we went to this, we made sure that the universities would understand what we were doing. They loved it. They applauded it. They appreciated it. And they recognized that even if a student here at Duchesne is taking 3 APs senior year, and her friend over at Memorial is taking 5 AP senior year, they're still on an even playing field, because 5 may be the most rigorous assignments that they can have at Memorial. 3 is the most rigorous that they can have at Duchesne. So they're the top, right? They're the ones that are pushing it to the highest level. And so they're on an even playing field. You would think that they weren't, but that doesn't equate, and it doesn't equate to college level too, which is really wonderful. So how they're chosen. So teachers have a rubric that they show the girls, they talk to the girls about, and give them basically the idea of, okay, here's what you need to do to get into an AP class. And for the most part, it's consistent A's in classes or A minuses in classes with consistent homework, consistent levels like that. Some girls with B pluses and some consistent stuff happens too. They vary. But basically, in essence, if you're doing exceptionally well in the class, you're going to be able to choose whether or not you want to take that AP level course. Like I said, that's the general overview of how students are selected to be able to take the class. It just varies dependent specifically on the actual class itself.
You've got a couple more good questions.
Yes. Okay. So AP classes work, later grades, how students assign. Great. Does Duchesne assign class rankings? No, we do not. We do. So we have to report to University of Texas and University of Texas A&M our top 7% or 6% and top 10%, but we don't tell them what number they are. So we'll send those names, the girls, but we don't tell them this is 1, 2, and 3. We just say, here's our top 6%, here's our top 10%. But we do not rank. And that's very common. We're not the only school in Houston, let alone the country, that doesn't rank. Our grades, here, girls will know who our top student is and who our number 2 student is. So we don't officially rank, we don't send all that stuff out, but we do celebrate those two students. Our grades from advanced classes have a different GPA factoring than non. Yes. So regular classes have no AP bump, or excuse me, no GPA bump. An advanced class has a 0.3 bump, and an AP class has a 0.5 GPA bump, and that's factored in at the end of the year. Our GPAs are calculated at the end of the year, and those bumps are calculated at the end of the year with corresponding to those classes that they take. So yeah, that's a great question. Do electives ever aggregate to make an AP credit? No. No, because usually those AP classes are that next level for a graduation requirement. So I will say, so AP French, AP Spanish, those could be used as electives, because what's happening is the girls will finish their Spanish 3 requirement. If they continue, let's say they finish Spanish 3 sophomore year, then they take the pre-AP Spanish 4 Junior year, though, that's an elective because they have finished their Spanish, their world language elective. And then AP, that AP would be an elective. So yeah, so I apologize. So the world language APs would. But generally speaking, the other ones don't, because it's just that next level for graduation credit. Yeah, so that's a great question. What are requirements for 4 years of subjects? What other requirements for 4 years of subjects? Okay, so English, you have to take 4 years of English. Math, you have to take 3 years, but 99% of our girls take 4 years. When we put this out there, we were worried that parents were going to say, oh my gosh, that means they're not going to take math senior year. We were worried that girls would try to not take math in 12th grade. What we told the parents, and what I share with you, is the reason we did that was because there are some students, like a 1% every few years, that really struggle in math. And so to be above the Texas state requirement, to be a college level school, we wanted to go above those minimum recommendations, but also be mindful of the girls that really struggle. We force the girls to take that 4th year of math, and we expect that you'll support us. So, and that's what we say. And frankly, when you're talking about the college process, any reputable university, unless there's a compelling story behind it, is going to expect 4 years of math. Okay, 4 years of history, 4 years of science, 4 years of theology, 3 levels of a foreign language, of a world language, 3 classes of computer science, 3 classes of fine art, 3 classes of PE. But if you're every season that your daughter plays a sport, that's considered a class, and then 8 elective classes. So those are all the different requirements, but those also include the years of expectations. Yeah, I think that I hope that answers that question. I hope. Okay. Other questions that may be popping up?
No. Okay, guess y'all did a good job.
Wow.
Thank you.
Coach.
All right. Well, if you think of a question later or tomorrow, feel free to email them. They will gladly,
Please.
yes, will gladly answer. For those of you that joined late, I did mention 2 other upcoming events that you might want to partake in. One is the Upper School Open House on October 17th from 1 to 3. You can register for that online on our website under the admissions pages. And then I also would encourage you to come do a Thursday Duchenne in Action tour. They start about 8:45 in front of the chapel. The actual tour begins about 9:15, where you will get to see the upper school in action and get to go into some of the classes to actually see the teachers teaching and the girls learning. So definitely take advantage of those 2 activities. There will be some information that will repeat, like the mod schedule at Open House. You'll hear about that a little bit more, but it will give you just a really good, thorough picture of upper school. All
Ms.
right,
Ginger,
Dawn, Alan, anything else?
Can I just add 2 quick things? One,
Sure.
we had lunch with the 8th graders the other day, and it was awesome. We had a lot of fun goofing off with them. Hopefully they came home and were maybe a little bit jazzed, more jazzed about high school. And then the other thing, be on the lookout. They're gonna come to an assembly and see just kind of how our assembly works. From what I understand, it too is completely different than their middle school experience. And so just, I don't know exactly when it is. I think it's in the next couple of weeks.
This Thursday.
It's this
It's
Thursday.
this Thursday.
So there it is. So Thursday night at dinner, got to ask them how assembly was. No promises. I mean, Coach Inman and I have a great time. So
We think it's a blast.
Yeah, so hopefully it translates a little bit too.
Yes, and the other thing we will be doing is the end of October, we will have your girls actually shadowing an upper school class or 2. that they'll get to spend a couple hours up in upper school and get to see a couple different classes. So we've got some fun things planned for them.
Ginger,
And
you
then
have
I
one
think-
more question.
I think she just answered it actually.
Okay.
Oh, let me see. What was it? Will their class tour be similar to the Thursday tours you
Yes.
just mentioned? Basically, yes. Yes, absolutely. Oh, wait, I think we have.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, I guess that is it. We really, really appreciate y'all's time. We hope that we've helped answer some questions that you may have. We look forward to seeing y'all, and please come join
Okay.
us at some of these upcoming events. We'd love to see you. Dawn and Allie, thank y'all very, very much.
No,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for
Yes,
coming.
thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye.